Hello, my dear ones. It is always a pleasure to sit down and have some fun and talk about health and spirituality. I think you're going to see this video that Hildy and I just did, and you know, it's a stretch for me to have to come out and get into these higher levels of awareness, but I have to. And it's time that the earthlings, so to speak, wake up to what's going on here, and not just at the physical level, about life that is expressing itself in levels that man is unaccustomed to looking at. Man has been looking too single, basically in a one-dimensional look. Then understand that there's all kinds of activity at all levels around you. Of course, and within you, in terms of the bodies and stuff. I want to do a protocol video because somehow wasn't labeled, or something happened to it, and people can't find the protocol video. And so this is important for me as well as it is for you. When you come up against a problem, what do you do about it? Okay? Because our world is not a world of treatment. Our world is a one of addressing causes. Doesn't it make sense? So let's think about this. This is a video on protocols. When you wake up with a problem, what's going on? We turn to the allopathic community. We've got a pain in our liver area. All right? So we turn to the medical community for that. The medical community says, you've got hepatitis. Okay, a viral load of some sort, A, B, or C, whatever. Or you have cirrhosis, or you have a tumor in the liver. Right? Or you have pancreatitis. Anything that's an itis, of course, is inflammation. Well, but the problem with that thinking is that inflammation is actually a natural immune response to what? See, the vitalness for all of you that tune into this station, even though a lot of you get this and are going down that road to Wellville, and that's why I did Hildy's video in the way we did, because a lot of you are reaching some of these high levels of energy, like Hildy is, and she can't hardly stay in her body. So what do you do with that? Because this is vital that you understand how you ground yourself now. And this is going to take you from what you've learned and grown with the raw, and maybe infuse some cooked, steamed, or veggies. Because grounding is essential to stay balanced, and you want to attempt to stay as balanced, or you can leave easy. It's easy to move in and out of the body when the body's healthy. When your body's energetic and healthy, it's easy for you to leave it and move around the universes of God. It's harder to leave the body the more pain it is, because that nervous system just locks your attention right into that body. So, knowing from a spiritual viewpoint that you're in the worlds of duality. The worlds of duality mean you're in the worlds where all life moves between two poles of magnetism, two poles of positive and negative, or two sides of chemistry called acid or base. That's okay.
2 o'clock appointment with the 4 cancer woman has started with Attila. I didn't know it.
Oh, okay. He's got the 2 o'clock with her. Okay, you know what? I'll break here in a minute. I want to go down and see. Is she a person?
She's going to be by Skype.
By Skype. Okay, I'm going to go down. I need to talk to her. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know that. Sure. Yeah, we, this is a lady with cancer all through her. Literally, tumors all through her everywhere. So we got to get to her and get her going. A lot of that in this world. This is a sad world. A lot of that. A lot of unconsciousness in this world. So much so, I've traveled in a lot of worlds, and this is definitely the lowest one I've ever been in, with the exception of the life forms on this and the different levels of consciousness on the life forms, including plants and etc. So let's look at protocols a minute. And I want you to realize that you have to understand causative factors if you want to understand what you need to get well, don't you think? If you don't understand what's causing your problem, how do you understand to fix it? Well, then why do you go to medical doctors? Because the bottom line to this, except for emergencies and things like that, I get that. But when you have symptomologies and you go, most of this is unknown. as most of you have found out by now, you've visited over and over and over again in multiple medical doctors, some of you multiple naturopaths. So the unconsciousness on this planet deals with the acid side of chemistry, and this is true with chemists, as we've discussed a great many times and have had chemists as clients. And the problem with chemists is they assume alkalosis is a state of acidosis, and if they just move these two, shuffle them around, they'll have all the answers pop into them. All the answers will awaken them. But they instead continue to use this insane look at biochemistry. You know, not all of biochemistry and chemistry is accurate. You got to realize theories. Theories abound are sciences. And sometimes people tout things as if they're factual when it's actually a theory of theirs. So you have to be real careful as an individual to disconcern through these things, and it's very difficult to disconcern these things. So what I'm sitting here to do is give you an overview, a jigsaw puzzle picture of how your body works and how it interacts with the magnetics and chemistry of this planet. With that, then, you can understand how you fix things. And then you'll understand why regenerative detoxification is your key, your golden key that unlocks all things miserable. And that includes emotional issues and mental issues, because these are non-physical issues, controlled, however, by physical endocrine glands or chakra centers. So it's important to understand that if you have a symptom, most symptoms, when you look at chemistry, base, acid. Base is feminine in nature, acids are male in nature. Acids are aggressive and what we call in chemistry, corrosive. Right? You ladies use acetates or acetones to strip your fingernail polish off. We use it to clean the old shellac off of inside of motors, because acids strip. And because acids are so inflammatory, so corrosive, they burn your electrolytes up so fast that, and especially those that are eating acid-forming diets, which means your foods are predominantly acid-forming, meaning you're not putting high electrolyte foods in to buffer all these systemic cellular metabolitic acid waste from the cells. Remember, your body has cells that create the structures and create the consciousness, and then you have the fluids that feed and clean them. So you must understand the lymphatic system in all ways. And this isn't a video for the lymphatic system, this is a video for protocols, but you have to understand the lymphatic system to understand why the protocols. So you have a sewer system in your body the medical doctors do not understand. Remember, the University of West Virginia just discovered the lymphatic system in their brain 2.5 years ago, maybe 3. So they do not understand. And there's a society of lymphologists, International Society of Lymphologists, and they don't understand what the trueness of the lymphatic system's for. Think waste removal. Think waste removal. Why do you have an exhaust system to your car? What do we do with burnt chemistry in factories? What do we do with the byproducts of combusted or ionized chemistry? Not so much ionized, but combusted, and you know, the whole, any process is going to yield you byproducts. You know, like vitamin C is a byproduct, believe it or not. CoQ10, byproduct. All these are byproducts of the Krebs cycles and things. And you know what? These are just the cycles of metabolism, digestion, etc. You need to understand what you need to eat. And the reason you're eating them. Because you have to understand inside your body you have a whole bunch of cells that make up the consciousness of everything, including the organs, the glands, etc., etc. But you must be able to get energy to those cells and remove the waste that they produce by burning this energy. And those are called metabolitic wastes, and those are acidic in nature. Here's an example. Forget to change your diaper on your newborn baby for a few hours, and go change it and look at the rash on your baby's bottom. Why? Acids. You're supposed to pee acids out of your body, not your electrolytes. So your urine should always be acidic in nature, not too acidic, because that's the job of the bacterium in your lymph nodes, is to break down these metabolitic waste from the cells, which are about 3 pH, up to about 6 pH. 5.5 to 6 pH. Or, if I said this many times, if you did not have bacterium in your lymph nodes doing this for you, you'd be peeing on your knees. Because 3 pH is Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Gatorade, Dr. Pepper. They all move between 2.9 and 3.1, somewhere in that range. Hotter than hell. Burn you. Take a sip of Coke in your mouth and hold it. Burn you. And that's what they did on the baby's bottom, and that's what they're doing inside of you, and you can feel the burn. However, it's translated through the nervous system as pain. So you have to look at that and understand that when you're in pain, you're on the acid side of chemistry, and the system that deals with the acid side of chemistry is the great lymphatic system that no one understands well. I think our side of life here understands it the most. And a big area that people don't understand is the connection of the kidneys and the skin to this gigantic sewer system. Remember, interstitially, that's around the cells. Lymph is 80% of that fluid. Blood's only 20%. Does that make that a huge deal? So you have to understand your lymphatic system is a cholesterol-based or lipid-based system. When people are having cholesterol problems, what system are they having problems with? The lymphatic system, and acidosis. So this whole process that you're on in this journey to Wellville is moving from the acid negative side of chemistry to the positive female healing, enhancing electrolyte side of chemistry. This is a base dominant planet. If it was an acid-dominant planet, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Even I've said this many times before, 50-50 is not even acceptable in the state of wellness. Dominance toward the base side. And that's because the acid side is so aggressive. So if you have fibromyalgia, what system is down? Blood? Not at all. Lymph. This is systemic acidosis. Your kidneys, right kidney controls your right drainage from your sinus to your toes. Your left kidney controls your left side sinuses to your toes. You have two bodies that drain separately. 2 different blood pressures, 2 different blood sugars. So, when you're going after your health, you're generally acidic, and you're going after that. Very few people live in alkalosis. Most of the journey is in acidosis. And so acidosis creates a cationic environment. And this is an environment of agglomeration, dehydration, where everything starts sticking and becoming hard. Notice if you guys have tumors, how they become hard as a rock. Acids harden you and destroy you. Lupus, Lyme's, these medical doctors are amazing to me. They give you antibiotics to sell the product, and they have nothing to do with that. You want bacteria in your body if you have these problems, because they'll get rid of systemic acidosis. Remember the story of the young man that went to northern Alaska, was given rotten seal meat and cleaned his lymphoma right out of his body. That was on Ripley's Believe It or Not. So you've got to get with what's going on here with your body, the lymph system, how it works, and understand that your kidneys and your skin are the eliminative organs of your metabolitic waste, and that's why you have 3 kidneys. It is essential to eliminate metabolitic waste, and I don't know, there's controversy, but let's say you have anywhere from 50 to 100 trillion cells, and they all eat and poop. And when you can't get rid of the poop no more, your diet has been full of proteins and high starches, you start to lose kidney filtration. Here's an example. Pee in a jar. We talk about this all the time. If it's clear, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. How are you getting rid of your acid waste from the cells? And they'll show up in your urine as white sediment or mucus threads. More and more people are seeing the mucus threads because their body is getting so full of mucus from mucus-forming proteins. Mucus-forming proteins are proteins that are abrasive or foreign protein, we'll call it, to the mucosa or to the human element. That's dairy products of all types, that sort of thing, except human milk. But human milk can become corrosive and acidic. If the mother's eating acid-forming foods, her foods become acid-forming. Your blood would become acid-forming too, but if your blood gets acidic, you'll be like those poor souls out in Oakland. You have about 3 minutes to die, and it took them about 3 minutes to pass. But most of those poor souls died in about 3 minutes. Because 3 minutes, the blood is so acidic and there's nowhere they're replacing it with base chemistry, then you pass. You know, you can go suck on your car exhaust if you want to pass real quick. Give you about 3 minutes. And that's important to understand, that man is living on the acid side of chemistry, and the medical and all these physicians are promoting it. Not telling you to get away from it, they're promoting it. These medical doctors are promoting high-protein diets. That's the first way to crash your butt. When you're in pain and you eat protein, you'll be in more pain. Let me tell you, we prove this year in and year out, because pain is an acid experience. And you've got to correct that. So how do we correct this systemic lymph system that's so backed up, that's dehydrated us, and is locked in place and not filtering anymore? How do you deal with that? Well, the very first thing on your protocols is your diet. You must move from a cooked food, high protein type of diet to no protein and living, vibrant foods that most of the other animals on this planet eat. You've got to lose this idea of proteins, because it is a negative force idea that's locking you guys into hellville. And they're continuing to promote that, as some promoted free gifts if they were president. Lying. So the proteins are a big problem for us. And we just keep eating them and eating them and eating. And as long as you do, you will always suffer. Amino acids is the order of the day, and you'll get those through non-protein sources of fruits, berries, melons, and veggies. So it is obvious that man is the only species that cooks and processes and destroys its foods before it eats it. So it's obvious by now in today's time that you understand raw foods are number one, uno. And I still find, after I've been 45 years here as a raw foodist, a fruitarian, kind of back and forth. And I thought it was bad then. It's so much better, no question. But there's still a lot of humans that have no idea even how to eat. They don't have any idea how to even eat. So, you must move your diet to a raw food diet like all the other animals on the planet. And then you haven't messed with the chemistry. So the creator that created that created all things, created the food source for all things. Man comes in and says, you know what? I moved from my island home into the paleo homes, and I can't survive well because I'm designed as an islander, a primate-ish, and yet I moved into hostile northern climates. How do I survive? So I kill animals, I have to preserve them, I have to can and cook, so I just literally destroy the chemistry of my foods. So how do you get well doing that? So when the Eskimos were discovered, remember their average age was only 40-some years old. Too much protein. You have to be aware of this, because man's going down real quick. But a lot of you guys that have come to us and that have just turned your world around so well. It's so beautiful. I love all of you guys. You're so good and really get this. So raw foods. Now looking at raw foods, are we veggie eaters or are we fruit eaters? Get a big table, put half of it with veggies and half of it with fruits, and then invite the first grade, second grade, and third grade of your local school to come in and have lunch. See which ones are gone first. I guarantee you it won't be the veggies. Those kids will swap that fruit up like nobody's business. I love it. Tastes good. Kale, I need a cardboard. Because we're a refined species. You herbivores have multiple stomachs and excessively long GI tracts to deal with the kale syndrome. So, You got to get out of that way of looking at chemistry sometimes and understand what types of food was designed for the human element, and that is fruits, berries, and melons. Well, when you're trying to get well, you want to move to the foods that you're designed to eat, number one. You want to be foods that don't take excessive digestive energy, because what you're trying to do is take your energy that you would normally be processing heavy proteins and crap and turn it to healing yourself. When you understand that, and you can understand that through nature, because nature will fast you when you get so sick. It'll take the desire for all food away from you. So jump nature on that, and you can go on a fruit diet and still hydrate and clean the body out, because we need hydration because of the high acidosis creating dehydration. The average person is burning up inside and yet dehydrated and cold. So when you start on these protocols, the first thing to consider is diet. Doesn't matter what you're used to. Doesn't matter what if you're suffering, you have to change your consciousness. If you sit there and say, I can't do it then suffer all you want. I don't care. Because I only care for those that care for themselves, that need to get well. Because we have some serious things coming this way, and you all need to get well to keep your physical bodies healthy and to have a little fun while things are a little on the negative side until things turn around. Plus, don't you want to go on and after this journey get into greater journeys? You don't want to keep cycling around, do you? Don't you want to go on greater journeys when you leave this physical body? Well, that doesn't always happen if you haven't learned your lessons here. So that's very important to think about. I'm going to go talk to this lady with the tiller for a minute. But I want you to realize that diet is key, number one. And we've talked so much about it. So when I get back, let's talk about what do we do with the herbs? How do we set up protocols for ourselves? And it's real simple, because your focus is always the same. If you're diagnosed by a medical doctor with cancer, what system do you have down? What system is tumors and acidosis and all this from? The destruction of cells. What system is that from? The blood? No. That's obvious. You wouldn't be alive. Well, there's only one other system. The lymphatic system. And man needs to understand this precious, amazing system. Because when it don't work, that's the whole world of diseases that the medical doctors made up. When the lymph system's down, it's down systemically. It's down from head to toe. When you lose filtration from any kidney, that whole side of your body's down. That's why you can feel more problems on one side of the body than the other. So once you get your kidneys filtering, you'll see it in your urine. We showed these and talked about these a great deal. All this sediment in the urine. A must-see. That's why Hildy and a lot of you guys are getting into the dry fasting a little bit, because it's making the kidneys filter better. It's almost when you withdraw all food from the body, it just puts 100% of its consciousness and attention on cleaning and repairing itself. How interesting when you correlate that with nature, and that's what it does in nature as well. See, we got to get out of this pseudoscience of medical thinking, pharmaceutical world of treatment of symptoms, and this ridiculous gene therapy. They don't understand a thing about genetics, I'll tell you that. You're only a God person to understand true genetics and what consciousness is and how that is moved through genetic cells. You can't out of that. You're flipping out ridiculous things like you don't have the gene to detoxify. That's one of their latest ones. Oh, you guys can't detoxify. You don't have the gene, MHR, whatever, bull crap. It'd be wise of them to back way up from their intellectualism and take a look at everything holistically our way, and then go back and see if they can apply what they're doing to what they now know. No. When you say autoimmune, MS, all this is autoimmune, you know immediately these guys don't know a thing they're talking about. They don't know what's causing it. But when you say autoimmune, what system is your problem in? The immune system. Oh, the immune system. Wait a minute. The immune system. I don't see that anywhere. Where's the immune system? Well, I got immune cells, but where's the immune system? It's the gigantic lymphatic system, guys. That's your main immune system. You've got some immune cells in your blood. But most of your immune, even the blood dumps itself, its waste, and its proteins into what? The lymphatic system. What organ does that mostly, besides the kidneys? The spleen. The spleen. That's what the spleen is for. It refurbishes and cleans the blood into the lymph system. Yeah. So when I get back, we'll go over the herbal side of this, because what I discovered maybe 40 years ago, going all raw, could just about clean up everything. But not in today's world. We have reached the point of chronic and degenerative issues. And it takes a bit to reverse these sort of things. And we've told you some of our MS and Lou Gehrig's case has been loss of voice, loss of movement, distorted limbs, coming right up and out and singing and talking again. Absolutely. And you can see that each and every time. And it shouldn't be strange to you, because understand what acids will do to you. Cripple you up, rob the calcium out of you, and put you in fetal position. And base chemistry will hydrate you and bring you back to normal. Because there's the blueprints of consciousness and the causal worlds for you spiritual guys. So beg your pause for a second, and I'll be right back.